This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you can learn to work and play and get along with each other.
Welcome everybody to Wednesday War Games, episode number 34. Joining me as always is my wonderful, lovely co-host Liam Jones. Liam, hey. 34, which is not the number of episodes. It's not the number of weeks there have been episodes of Monday Night, because we've missed one. I did one by myself and one with Rob, so you've missed 3.
Well, that's fine. I'm like Lesnar. I show up, get paid, draw the viewers, then leave.
And then take a few days off, and then miss recording days too often, don't you, Liam?
Listen, I gotta make it special. Or else, what's the point?
Making this very timely podcast about the Wednesday Night War is released on a Friday / maybe even Saturday.
Yeah, but did you see the response when it was released on the actual day?
The thing was, people were like, ooh, early Wednesday War Games. Like, no, this is when the podcast is always meant to be released.
I hope that that's indicative of our growing fan base, and that they are not people who were around for the original shows where it was just released on the correct day, and now they're like, ooh, it's new. So really, my long-term plan of being lazy has come around to making people expect less of us, so then we overachieve more easily.
Our consistent releasing it late has realigned people's expectations to think that it's meant to come out on Friday instead of Thursday.
So, in conclusion, you're welcome.
Yeah, so now we can just start releasing it on Sunday, and everyone will be like, whoa! Yeah, it's early this week!
We'll release it 1 hour after both shows end.
The following week.
Yes. It's like that delayed of it. Well, that's basically like, we would have done a Sunday episode basically on that one time that we both didn't do it.
Yeah, we could have, but then, you know, that's actually quite hard to say. My throat is giving out on me. It's 2 minutes into a podcast, throat. Come on, get your crap together. But yes.
Oh, we got so much to talk about. We're going to talk about what we did this week. That's our new segment. What Liam and Garrett did this week.
There's a lot of things doing this week. It's upsetting.
It's a very
I didn't do anything. I just sat there.
You wallowed is what you did this week.
Yeah, I just literally, most of my week has just been sitting there scrolling on Twitter and just like despairing at the world that this is the state of affairs, that this is the way we are now. And like you said when I called you, it's like the world is upside down. It's like maybe the world is right side up for once.
I guess all we can really hope for is that some positive change will come out of all of this.
That's a long hope these days. Even that, I'm like, as if, you know, people marching in the streets will actually have
You've
change.
Lost all hope.
Like, because you see this over and over again, where it seems like, you know, there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a meaningful action based on people's intent. And
as I said before, the corporations are on the side this time.
And we're all like, oh, Pepsi, tweet about Black Lives Matter, instead of being like, hey, public representatives, actually do something about this. Though fair play to the brands. We mentioned this before we started recording as well. Fair play to the brands.
We should just not talk. We should just record the minute we open the call.
That's true. The brands that are actually doing something about it, fair play to them.
Yeah. To me, in my general distrust of our power systems in every country, it's at least a somewhat reassuring sign that these major corporations have seemingly decided which side is going to win, because they're choosing to side with that side. And if they thought there was a chance of nothing coming out of this, I think none of them would have said anything.
Because corporations are horrible, greedy, cynical people who will pick the side in which they believe they will make most money. And, you know, as you mentioned, they're picking at least the right side of history in this instance.
And, like, it's to give them the least amount of credit possible while saying this. It's like, I have no faith in any of them or why they're doing it. I think it's completely just for their bottom line. But hey, as long as it's getting out there, it's like I guess how betting odds are calculated. It's not necessarily the reason why things are happening, but just, oh, look at the signs pointing that way.
If they believe that their best interest is in ending racial and social inequality, then good, I guess. Thumbs up.
The current odds on ending racism.
Yeah. Like just scrolling Twitter and seeing like the literally never-ending feed of just police brutality during protests against police brutality, and you're just like, you couldn't even like get your shit together for the week and a half that people will be actively protesting police brutality, and they prolonged
that's the time that they're
going
to most actively be out there going against it. Like this place, this country.
There's a great big giant stupid spotlight right on police brutality right now, and all they can do in response to that is just shoot tear gas into peaceful protests. And I'm like, how is that even your response to this?
I also think that like there's this public outcry from people all over the world, right? And I think it's very important for people who aren't in America to not just hyper-focus on America.
As if racism is only an American phenomenon.
And I don't know, what the police situation in Ireland is. I don't really keep up with it, surprisingly. But, like, Australia has its fair share of problems too. And I think it's easy to get caught up in the swell, and the well-deserved, swell that is happening in America, because I assume it's the most blatant example of this and the most extreme example of this. But take your time, if you are from a different country, to use this as a time to reflect on your own country and your own problems as well. Like, obviously show your support, donate if you can, support Black Lives Matter in any way that you can, but also take this time as a time of reflection to see what changes need to be made on your home ground.
The thing with Ireland is, or as I look at the stats right now, 82.2% Irish, most of whom would be white, and then 9.5% other white. So we're above 90% white. So like we have less racism because we're just all white. And I can guarantee if like we had more, a greater representation of minorities among our population, there would be a much greater percent of racism in this country. So it's nice to be like to sit back and go like, we have less racism in Ireland, which we probably do. That's a factual statement, but we also have less races in Ireland. So
whereas like here we have a very tumultuous history in which a lot of bad things have happened to a lot of groups, and specifically to the indigenous population, and even to go with the current theme of things, there is obviously a lot of police brutality issues and a lot of death in custody and a lot of the incarceration rates and the death in custody rates of the indigenous population in Australia, as far as I'm aware from numbers that I've just seen over the last few weeks, because it sparked up this whole debate itself, they dwarf everything else in comparison. And a lot of that comes from a lot of like really racist policies that we have too, so it's like, it's really like, I don't know, it sucks.
Like, every country on Earth has race, and like there's probably a little bit of racism in everybody. It's because like it's bred into there's an Avenue Q song that we're all a little bit racist sometimes, and it's probably true. But the idea that like you're supposed to recognize when that happens, when that little thing goes off in your brain about other people, and you're like, no, stop it, my dumbass brain, stop being racist. And like the idea that people not only don't combat that, but like fully embrace it is just so baffling.
In a lot of cases that we're seeing, it's like institutionalized and completely folded into the fabric of someone's existence after a certain point.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is institutionalized. It's culturalized as well, which is the reason there is probably a little bit of racism in all of us, because it's as is often said, racism is, no one is born racist. You learn how to be racist, and there are things in society that tell you that people that look or think or act differently than you are somehow less than, and we increasingly believe that, even though it's complete and utter nonsense.
And a part of it too is like, there's a lot of people that get upset, and I think they just don't necessarily understand, or in some cases I'm sure being choosing to be willfully ignorant, but like a lot of people get angry when things like they call them microaggressions get brought up, like the way people act about a certain race in a jovial manner. Like a lot of it's casual racism, and people could think, oh well, I'm not actually racist, it's just casual, it's jokes. And it's like, but you don't understand that the casual racism is what's implanting these ideas into people that may not have had these ideas because, you know, they're kids or whatever, and they see their parents making a racist joke into the parents. You know, it's not hate-filled, but it starts to build that perception of people.
It just creates those attitudes and behaviors on us. And like, we're two white guys, you know?
Yeah, two white guys from Australia and Ireland. We're definitely not the ones to be tackling America's race problems.
Far from authorities on racism.
But the thing is, it would feel disingenuous to come on and not mention something that, if you've seen our Twitter feeds, we're pretty outspoken about. And
it's just like these stupid dumb wrestling shows that we will talk about, but like they're the least important thing on the face of the earth right now. So it would feel very strange to go on like, hey guys, let's talk about Hangman Page returning to AEW. How do we feel about that? And we will do that. But
yeah, but at the same time, you kind of gotta acknowledge the happenings of the world, I think, a little bit. Because as much as WWE may try to preach to us about it being an escape, it really isn't. It's more
and in fact, like, not only is there no escape from it, there should not be an escape from it, because escaping from it is privilege on our part. It's like, it's easy for us to go like, oh, well, I'll just, you know, stop looking at Twitter for a while, as if the problem disappears, as if institutional racism doesn't continue to exist when I'm not looking at it.
Well, in a lot of ways, it doesn't for us. If we
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's the problem. So I can happily live my life without ever really thinking I will be racially abused in literally any way whatsoever. So, you know, why should I care? And that's the attitude a lot of people have. It's like, it doesn't happen to me, so it's not real. And to those people, I say, go fuck yourself.
And like, I think, you know, we try to reach at any sort of silver lining that happens in all this violence. Like, some good that's come out of this is at least that people who were trying to put those blindfolds on, who were trying to put those blinders on and ignore everything that was happening, in this moment they're being confronted with it, and they're starting to open their eyes a little bit, because they can't run from it because it's at such a large scale.
And at the very least, so many brands have come out in support of Black Lives Matter that actual racists have so little can't actually watch anything.
Got nothing
anymore.
To do.
There's no wrestling shows they can watch anymore, that's nice.
No video games they can play.
No, they can't play any video games. They probably can't eat any food at this stage. So there you go.
Oh no, the racists can't eat.
Yes, it's a devastating problem for the poor racists. Like, and all the disingenuous, because like the entire US right has operated in bad faith for the best part of, like, I don't know, 50 years. Like, everything they say about freedom, everything they say about like small government, everything they say about fiscal responsibility, everything they say about literally any social issue, they don't actually mean. They don't care. They don't believe any of it. It is literally all just a tactic to rile people up and get reelected. And it shows this week. The same week that these people are like, freedom, 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 and then the US government shoots tear gas on peaceful protesters, and the same people that shout freedom until the end of time are suddenly like, oh well, those people should obey the law. These same people, by the way, who like 3 weeks ago were like, I have a right to get a haircut, shouting in the face of the police, but now everyone should obey the authorities and stay inside, even though institutional racism and people are dying, and like, that's all people are asking for. Stop killing us in the streets. Stop treating us differently solely because of what we look like. Why is that such a divisive thing? Why is that not a thing that people are like, yeah.
Yeah, stop having these preconceived notions about us before you even meet us. And it's like, the thing is, I was like, imagine if like this exact scenario, like any of these people who are against this, if this exact scenario was flipped and they became the minority all of a sudden, you know exactly how they would react. They were the minority when it came to goddamn coronavirus and having to stay inside, and they immediately couldn't handle it. Yet they expect other people to do it, or they just ignore their plight and they ignore their pleas.
They care about literally nothing but themselves. That's all it comes down to. All these people only care about themselves and their own self-interest and whether or not they're okay. And everyone else, who cares? God.
And this is what you came to Wednesday War Games to listen to.
On the bright side, opening the show with 15 minutes about this means if we do have any racist listeners, they're gone.
Yeah. They've bolted at this point.
Because, like, that's the reason brands don't speak out. They're, like, afraid they'll lose the racists. And if you're afraid you'll lose the racists, I'm sorry. Just, like, go away. Just close your business.
That's a reason that a president of a country didn't reach out or didn't condemn any actions because they were scared they were going to lose the racists.
So, like, yeah. We will happily lose the racists. That's what I'm saying.
I don't care about y'all. Get out of here.
Every week, we talk about AEW Dynamite.
Except for that 1 week.
WWE NXT. Last week, AEW won, so we shall open the show talking about these very important
we've moved on
shows.
from that topic. How did AEW open their show?
They did indeed open with a Black Lives Matter message, which was nice. A nice little video, so they acknowledged it. So racists can't watch AEW, thank God.
Yeah, well, they're done. Like, imagine. I wonder, like, if I could see like the minute 1 results to the minute 2 results.
But is there ratings, like a giant drop off in from the racists?
They're like, nope.
My wrestling I don't want politics in my wrestling.
Yeah.
Ooh. AEW Dynamite opened with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega defeating Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc in a fun World Tag Team title match. I missed Hangman Page's entrance music.
Yeah, it's a banger.
It's a great theme song. I was like, look at that. I'm just as happy to hear his theme song as I was to actually see him wrestle.
It did feel weird because it's been so long.
It's been... Obviously, he was on, whatchamacallit, he was in the Stadium Stampede, but this
on
is
a
his
horse?
First... On a horse, indeed, but this is his first conventional wrestling match since coronavirus hit, so...
Well, just, to retort to one Joe Lanza, one of our overlords, it is a match.
Yes, it is a match. People are like cinematic wrestling. It's like the Stadium Stampede had more in common with like 1999 WWF hardcore matches than it did with the Final Deletion. So like, stop it.
It had more in common with like Jeff Hardy versus Umaga Falls Count Anywhere.
Yeah, or like Al Snow and Hardcore Holly or whoever it was brawling out into the Mississippi River. That's like the through line there, not like Lucha Underground. So stop.
And like, did it affect the rankings? It was a match. Boom. Gotcha.
There you go. Oh, AEW's rankings. Speaking of ranking, and by the way, I looked at the tag team rankings after Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc were number 1 contenders, and they still weren't in the top 5. And I was like, "What's happening here? What are we doing?"
I just have the rankings as a visual thing. Don't actually use them for anything.
But like, why is a team that's literally getting a tag team title shot not in the rankings? These stupid... Like, I think the rankings are a perfectly fine idea that basically justify your booking and keep you honest so that you actually work toward making
the problem is you got to be kept honest.
Yes, you actually have to keep yourself honest. You can't just, do a number 1 contenders match for no discernible reason and then give the team the title shot that's not even in the top 5 and they're still not in the top 5 despite winning the number 1 contenders match. Stupid rankings.
The thing is, like, you've given yourself an out too by saying, like, quality of win. So you could have, like, not branded it a number 1 contendership match and just had them win decisively and say, well, based on their quality of win last week, they've been awarded a tag team title shot.
Oh, this silly. Good match. Page and Omega are a good team. Their finisher is called The Last Call now, which is stealing James Storm's name, but alas.
Also, it's like, it's just playing off one person. It's just the Hangman Page thing.
It should be the Sands Call. Last Sands.
Game over.
Kota, Kenny, Hangman, Love Fest.
Rest in peace, Kota.
Subtweet New Japan video. Lariat.
my fan fiction.
Lariat. Yeah. Gotta get Paige in there.
Oh yeah. Kenny's Western Adventure.
That's basically what AEW is, so that works.
Back to the Future 3.
Hey, Kushida's in NXT.
Oh, what a trio that would be.
Actually, Back to the Future 3 would be a great name for a Kushida and Hangman Page tag team.
I know what our TW game is going to be.
Yeah, they won. It was a good match. I liked it.
Yeah, it's probably not the strongest Kenneth Page tag match.
They were wrestling Jimmy
ever.
Havoc and Kip Sabian.
I don't know. I like I've said, staunch supporter of the Havoc Sabian team. They need a tag name. And they do Marty and Saber's tag finish, and that's a cool finish. So yeah, big thumbs up from me.
We got footage of Tully Blanchard's really good Twitter promo, which thankfully they put on the show, and then Tully gave him a glove. So there we go.
What a payoff!
What a payoff!
The glove is some like dumb territory thing, right?
It's a loaded punch thing, yeah, more likely.
Cool. You know, the only good loaded like whatever gimmick ever was Hero having the loaded elbow pad and him saying that it was extra powerful because he got it from Masawa. That's such a great justification for why it's stronger. Oh, it's Masawa's elbow pad.
This makes perfect sense. So Spears has gone from 10 guy to chair guy to glove guy.
Oh yeah, he should get like a cozy for his chair and put it over it and hit them, and it's double powerful. And we also get the write-off of the tag team shtick. That's not going to happen anymore. So
yeah, that's a great 6 months of storytelling they just did.
Well, I'm sure that was Corona affected. I wonder who the original plan was. Maybe it was Cage.
Well, no, apparently Taz and Cage was always the plan, but they just had to push it back a few months.
I wonder who it was destined to be.
On the topic of Cage, he squashed Sean Dean. I have a problem with AEW managers because, like, too many of the wrestlers they're managing are basically becoming some variation of mini-me's or tied to the nostalgia of their manager. Like, Sean Spears is basically trying to be Tully Blanchard. Brian Cage is, like, Taz does his catchphrase, but Brian Cage. Brian Cage's music is Taz's ECW music, but
with
Brian
his old,
Cage.
like, dumb quote reworked
Which
for
makes
him.
no sense. Absolutely no sense for
His
Brian
theme
Cage.
sucks too, by the way.
Yeah,
like I thought AEW themes started to get the act together a little bit, and then like this, I was like, ugh.
And what the other one, like the entirety of the build to Archer against Cody was about frickin' Jake Roberts and his snake. So,
but
like,
I think at least with Archer and Jake, they've distinguished them enough as actual characters. But maybe that was because Jake was gone for a month or two. But I think Archer stands out at least.
These managers should be there to lend credibility and amplify the performers. The performers should not be beholden to the nostalgia of the managers. And it's like, it reminds me of like TNA when Ric Flair managed AJ Styles and AJ Styles became a mini-me version of Ric Flair. And it was the stupidest thing. Or Hulk Hogan managed The Abyss and gave him his goddamn Hall of Fame ring, which gave him power.
And he got superpowers.
Speaking of, it's basically the same angle as Chris Hero, so you should hate it.
Yeah, but like it's funny because Misawa.
But Hulk Hogan, I wonder if they turn a bit racist as well.
Oh, man, that's Hogan versus Misawa. Dream match.
They'd probably have a really good match in Japan. But yeah, managers. Make managers there to amplify the performers. Don't strip away the performer's individuality just because you're stuck in the nostalgia of the manager.
Yep. That match is happening at Fyter Fest, which is 2 days.
Yeah, Moxley's promo was good. I like Moxley's promo. And Taz is a really great promo. Just get the Taz nostalgia out of there.
Moxley, like, leaned a little too... I mean, I don't know if this is a bad thing necessarily, but a little Dean Ambrose WWE champion in this promo, I felt. Like, I felt you could have swapped the belts and swapped the haircuts and it would have been the same promo.
See, I think wrestling has a babyface champion problem, where they're all just kind of the same. It's like, I'll be a fighting champion. I'm an honest, decent person.
And the thing is, like, it's much harder to book a babyface champion. That's why, like, every Progress babyface champion turned heel in their reign.
Yeah, so, like, I'm honestly not sure what to do about babyface champions, but they all end up kind of being the same.
Yeah. I guess you can either do, like, I'm cocky fighting champion, or you can do like Cody, I'm the workhorse champion. That's really the two shticks you got.
I don't know. People can have more individual characters. I guess
they're the only two.
We got like 2 back-to-back pre-tapes, which both alleviated my problem with managers and then amplified it again. Lance Archer cut his own promo, which I'm like, yay! But then Matt Hardy came backstage to Private Party, is like, you guys remind me of the Hardy Bros. I'm like, no, stop! Make them Private Party, not the next Hardy Brothers.
It really feels weird that we're seemingly going to get away from Matt versus Inner Circle without having the payoff I'd expect from it.
Without doing a Matt and Jericho match?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very odd, especially because we never got Old Delete Elite or whatever it was. Old Elite Delete.
I guess the Stadium Stampede was kind of the Elite Delete.
I think the original plans for that string of that feud got really messed up because Blood and Guts and then the Old Delete Elite getting mixed up and scrapped and just probably morphed into the one match being the Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, Stadium Stampede was basically the Elite Delete and Blood and Guts combined.
I liked this Lance promo a lot, and I liked that Jake sold he's unhinged and he's actually kind of worried about him.
Yeah, that's what Lance should be. It should be his own character traits. Get the snake out of here.
Yeah, he should have his own snake.
Well, he does.
It's Jake.
Yes, indeed.
He starts dragging Jake over people. He puts Jake in a bag.
I forgot to mention this at the start of the show. They set up pyro at the start of every show, and I really hope they're just running the same footage of the same pyro every week.
That would be amazing.
Instead of setting off new pyro in front of nobody week after week.
Hey man, there's a crowd out there.
A crowd of your paid performers.
Yeah, give them a show.
They deserve their pyro.
Yeah, if they're gonna stand there for 7 hours. Oh wait.
Is it weird that Chris Jericho against Colt Cabana is exactly the kind of match I want out of AEW?
Yeah, because it's what is the weird, not even dream matches, but just matches that you'd never expect to happen that you're strangely excited for? And it's like 2 legends, but on different levels of wrestling.
It's like when you go through TNA history and you see there's a match between AJ Styles and Dusty Rhodes. And you're like, that's a match I never wanted to see, but it's a match I'm happy exists.
It's a match I now have to see that I know exists.
Whereas, Chris Jericho and Colt Cabana is on a similar level. A journeyman indie guy against biggest star in the world for 15 years, finally colliding in a wrestling ring. And they had a really fun little TV match. It won't blow your socks off, but there was a spot where Colt went for his jump over pin. Does that have a name?
Superman.
Ah, yes, the Superman pin. He went for the Superman pin. Jericho dropped his legs, countered into the walls of Jericho, and I was like, oh, that's so clever. That's such a smart spot.
It was so good because I initially got mad at Chris because I thought he forgot when he put he propped his legs up late. And I was like, oh, Chris. But then, it was it popped me hard. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect that.
He suckered him in, yeah. So that this match, it's probably a 3.25 star match, but it's one of those 3.25 star matches that you're like, I'm happy this match exists.
Yeah. And it's just cool. It's a cool, little historic footnote. I feel like they've really done a good job of keeping Cabana kind of strong. He doesn't win the big ones, which is actually the point of the storyline coming in. But, he does still feel like a viable guy to have, a TNT title match or something.
Yeah, he hasn't been dumped down to, complete jobber nerd. And I think Colt will always have that kind of level of credibility just because, he's Colt Cabana. I don't think he'll ever be a guy you look at that's you're absolutely useless. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Jericho won with the Judas Effect before, or he called out Mike Tyson, and the real baddest man on the planet showed up, Orange Cassidy.
Okay, Jericho needs to stop doing his back elbow, because he hit 2 back elbows that looked straight up like Judas Effects during this match.
But did they have the full rotation?
One of them was real close. I was like, man,
you don't have the velocity, Liam. You need the velocity of the Judas Effect. That's the difference.
Okay. But yes, the baddest man on the planet.
Orange Cassidy.
Big OC.
I'm still again, I will reiterate, if they do this match without a crowd, I will be so mad. I will be
That's your first match back with the crowd. Right there.
Yeah, which they set up Hager, Santana, and Ortiz against Best Friends next week. I was very disappointed.
Him jumping into Best Friend's arms. was so good.
To escape. He had his escape plan laid out, Liam. He's very smart.
He's the architect of the best friends.
How wild is it that Orange Cassidy is the biggest star of those three?
I mean, let's go back to all the tweets of the people saying that he shouldn't have been hired.
It's ridiculous. Like, he's legitimately one of the biggest attractions this company has. Like, his videos, YouTube videos, go look at the AEW YouTube. Literally anything that has Orange Cassidy in the title does extremely well.
Bigger ratings than Mike Tyson, baby.
Yeah, they should. Jericho Orange Cassidy is a bigger match than Jericho Mike Tyson.
Do it all out. Drag it along.
They should have someone take out Mike Tyson and then Orange Cassidy replaces him as the real baddest man on the planet.
If they don't do some, like, you know, crazy Bullet Club someone debuting thing with Cody, like for his open challenge, have Orange Cassidy be the one who beats him.
Yeah, I think that would work. Again, with a crowd. But yes. That would go well. If we ever have a crowd, like I keep saying with a crowd, but like you really can't plan with or without a crowd anymore. But alas.
Well, I don't know. I was gonna say, like, I guess because here it feels like it's almost done because like everything's reopening at this point. I always keep thinking like, oh, we're getting close to crowds again, but then realizing that the state of affairs in America are much dire.
Britt Baker, she's still there. She's their role model,
and she's all decked out.
Sorry, I was distracted by work stuff.
I was gonna say, you really no-sold my big like point.
Yeah, sorry. So this is an annoying thing about people messaging me. Leave me alone, people.
I'll leave this all in.
Yes, you know what? I will leave this all in.
That's what I always say. You know, this is what the people want. They want the realness.
Authenticity, yes. They want the sincerity and the authenticity of our podcasting method.
That's why, in the times of trouble, they come to us to hear some real opinions, some down-to-earth thoughts, and that's why they trust us as their number one source for news and political discussion.
Get Britt Baker out of here. We're the true role models.
Yeah, with 3 L's.
Yes, which led to Nyla Rose against Big Swole. Nyla won, then Swole had a confrontation with Britt. Good match. I like that match. More Swole on this show. Swole is great.
Moved away from the our husbands stuff.
Yes, that is good.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, they hate each other. It's like she's a dumb person in a golf cart, which she crashed into a barrier.
Shout out to Rebel. Like, what a, like, out of nowhere, like, has managed to be on AEW TV for like 4 weeks in a row now.
I like Rebel. Back to the dollhouse. You gotta love the dollhouse. You gotta love the menagerie. You gotta love these long-term storytelling.
I actually thought it was kind of early to bring Britt back, even though her like vignette was funny. I was like I thought you have an out. She's out for like 3 months.
So yeah, you can't really do this for 3 whole months.
Yeah, I guess unless you have her like Swole like take this injured woman out.
They should do a deletion. They should do a cinematic match, Liam. They shouldn't do a wrestling match. They should do Swole against Britt Baker in a dentist office.
They'll probably do something like Rebel wrestles on her behalf.
I'm trying to come up with some kind of dental-themed match pun. I'm drawing toothache, the root canal match.
Jawmageddon.
Jawmageddon. There you go. It's a Jawmageddon match. It's not even a particularly good pun, but we'll take it.
Oh, come on. Sorry that my first offering wasn't good enough for you.
Listen, I want better. I expect better out of my podcast host.
If it was a different TNA stable, it could be called the Decay.
Oh, there you go. The Tooth Decay. There you go. Yeah. Darby Tony had a series of. I always love Tony.
Filling Fest.
Filling Fest. Yeah, that works. There you go. Filling Fest. It'll be at Fighter Fest. It'll be the Filling Fest. They should do it at a dental office.
Yeah.
Boom. Book it, TK.
In your dental practice.
If nothing else, but to make Joe Lanza mad at having to watch more cinematic wrestling.
The best wrestling. All wrestling should be cinematic.
Darby Allin cut a promo about how life is a joke, but he'll have the last laugh.
We've never related to something more.
He's still feuding with Brian Cage, so I assume that's where Cage will go after he loses to Mox, which is
him. That's how they warm him up for Mox.
But Fighter Fest. Oh yeah, we still have a month until Fighter Fest. I guess they could do that before Mox.
Yeah, and that'll be a cool match.
Yeah. Apparently they had a very good Evolve match once.
That's not a real company.
It's not, so there's no way of proving this.
If it was on the award-winning WWE Network, then maybe. But
Tony Schiavone interviewed the Revival.
This was really good.
FTR. And he's like, what does FTR stand for? It's like, FTR is a lifestyle. It means lots of things. It means whatever FTR can mean.
Good meme. Good cover. I like this a lot. I think this is actually the thing I was most excited about on this show. Going in.
Did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah. It's probably my favorite thing on the show. I just like hearing them talk. Very old school. And then I liked Tony. I thought it was fuck the Revival. And then we get a little Butcher and Blade thing. They throw a water bottle at them, I think. and then it's gonna take a minute. Cash.
I'm not gonna ever remember that. It's gonna be like people always gave out about the Naturals that they couldn't know which one was Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens. That's gonna be me with the Revival. I'm never gonna remember which one of these.
I know which one's which. I just don't remember the new names.
And which name applies to which person.
I think Cash is Dash.
That helps.
I hope that's true. And then they did a great bit where he's like, it was just for, and as he's walking away, throws the water at him. I was like, that's great. They're such like perfect dickheads. And we're getting that match next week apparently. And I thought that was definitely gonna be a Fighter Fest Night 2 match.
Yeah, they listed all the teams they'd like to face and conspicuously left out the Young Bucks, furthering that story.
And then they said they just want to beat him in 3 seconds.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of dumb that they're like, we're a tag team that plays by the rules. It's like, because I think they're meant to be heels, or at least veer toward heels.
Well, they're meant to be like Jim Cornette. Like, why are they doing all these flips and not obeying tag rules and such?
But like, if you're
curmudgeons.
But if you're the heels and you're giving out about baby faces not obeying tag rules, you look just kind of stupid, don't you? Because if the referees allow you not to tag in and out...
They're meant to be tattletales.
But, like, still, it still makes you look stupid.
I guess they're meant to be, like, wrestling purists.
Because, like, they were like, oh, how about those tags during the opening match? And I'm like, you look stupid.
I think that was like... more of a shot at the Lucha Brothers and how at the start they literally just weren't tagging.
Yeah, but it's still stupid. Like, if the referees allow you not to tag, you shouldn't be like, oh, referee, they're not playing fair. I'm a heel.
Are you saying that the heels are complaining?
No, I'm saying the heels look stupid.
Yeah, the heels are meant to look stupid.
They're not that kind of stupid, though.
Did you not see their WWE run?
Well, there's a different kind of stupid. There's many kinds of stupid that you shouldn't look like in wrestling.
It doesn't matter. They're going to have good matches, and that's all that matters. I did like how... In the last, 3 years, has Dave Meltzer's name been brought up on wrestling programming more than, any time in history?
Yeah, it's the woes of the Twitter world we live in, that, Dave has never been more, visible, so people keep on mentioning him.
And, I suppose it just adds to the ethos of the Dave Meltzer.
It's good for his brand, the fact that people keep bringing him up. It's certainly good for Wrestling Observer subscriptions.
Why weren't they and Garrett and Liam giving 5-star matches to Kenny and Hangman?
They're picking Kenny and Hangman for match of the week every single week. It should be us.
Yeah, and those guys on Wrestling War Games.
Call us out, FTR, you cowards.
Yeah, if you're not scared of a real team.
It's easy to go for Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, face us on VW Quiz Night.
That's still a sore spot for me.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. Didn't you make the questions?
I bet that was for a different round.
I was going to say, how did you lose something that you made the questions for?
Because the first week it was me against Kelly, and it was a draw technically, and I lost on a tie break that Rob had to only come up with in the moment. What was
the question? What was the question? I'll see if I can answer it, and then we will win together as a team.
Oh, it was who did Baron Corbin wrestle on a show in 2015?
Alright, okay. Was it Kalisto?
It was Kalisto, but
we won.
Kelly got there first. It was very upsetting. I was robbed.
We won. No, it's expunged now.
Oh, yeah, screw you, Kelly.
Wednesday War Games are the first winners of VW Quiz Night.
There we go.
Let it be
We're
known.
the endless winners. You should participate this week. We're into the semis. You can't participate.
The fact that I guessed Kalisto out of every possible name.
You
and
did
got
listen.
that?
You're lying to me.
I have not listened to I don't even know the format. I know 5-star match games format.
I was robbed. Main event, Cody, Jungle Boy. Why did Cody bleed? I don't get it.
Because he's his father's son.
But like, it added nothing to the match. It didn't add to Jungle. I thought like I'm not one of those people that's like there should be no blood in wrestling. But it's like this was completely meaningless blood in wrestling.
Cody hasn't bladed in like 2 months, and he got antsy.
He needs his blood on the mat of AEW so he can be sincere when he said like I leave my blood, sweat, and tears there.
Garrett, are you familiar with the current AEW meme?
What's the current AEW meme?
Cody has become the latest recipient of the Cody wins lol. He's the new wins lol out there.
Really?
Yes, because apparently he buries all of the AEW mid-card by having 50-50 matches where he puts them over.
And he lost to MJF, he drew with Darby, he lost to Jericho. Like there was a problem for a while where Cody was losing too much.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is like everyone complained about the Elite losing at the start. Now the Elite is starting to win. Everyone complains about the Elite winning. It's almost like these people are acting in bad faith and don't have any actual opinion on it. And they're just going to push a narrative.
Jungle Boy shouldn't be beating Cody. It's not like they built Jungle Boy up for this big moment where he's finally going to dethrone Cody at All Out, and they built it up
that's Orange
for months,
Cassidy's moment.
and then he loses to Cody. Then I'd be like, all right, they built him up for a moment, and then they cut the legs out from under him. No, this is just a one-off TV match. He shouldn't have won. I'm more annoyed about the blood in this match because it was pointless and didn't serve a purpose.
Cody has blonde hair, you see. So he must blade.
You relate have you just started blading randomly yourself?
Every day of my life.
Just to see how it looks?
Wait, that sounded real like like gigging.
Oh, there we go. That's AEW. Cody retained. That was it. Yeah. That was the show.
The match was okay.
It was fine. People were like, "This is a good." It was alright.
People are too easy on Jungle Boy.
I thought Jungle Boy was fine. I just thought there wasn't anything to this match. And it just ended suddenly, and Cody bled for no reason. I was like,
I forgot
all right,
who said it. Maybe multiple people, probably. But someone says like Cody is a crowd wrestler, and I think it's becoming more evident. Maybe that's why people are turning on Cody, or maybe that's just the plight of the ace.
It is the plight of the ace. There was the Hiroshi Tanahashi's bad movement in like 2015.
That was well, he was another recipient of Tana Winslow.
That's because you can't push people. People don't understand what a push is anymore.
I just how could you hate Tanahashi? He's like the best wrestler of all time.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to give a shout out to
me.
Swole. No, Swole wore Power Rangers gear.
Oh.
This does not excite you? This in tribute to the Ashleys and Kelseys and Kiras and Dustins and Aishas and Trinis and Mayas.
So many names of
and
Power Rangers that you know.
I'm out of Yellow Rangers. Damn it, I've only got through like 7 of them.
I don't think I could name a Power Ranger.
There
was a Tommy.
Yellow Ranger. There was a Tommy.
That's about it. And they had an episode where they fought the Ninja Turtles or something.
Yeah, in space. Power Rangers in space. Fought the Ninja Turtles.
That's about all I know. And they have Zords.
How did you grow up as a child in like the early 2000s and not watch Power Rangers?
I watched like the occasional episode, but I never watched like a series of it.
You're problematic, Liam.
Pokemon.
I watch Pokemon. I watch Digimon. I watch Power Rangers.
I watch Pokemon, Digimon, wrestling,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
and then Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Dragon Ball.
You missed the best. Power Rangers is the best. I want to be a Power Ranger.
Inuyasha.
If Power Rangers casting agents are listening to this,
I'm just getting Sailor Moon in here for John.
Hey John, I'll watch Sailor Moon someday.
And if any animes are listening, please cast me as an anime.
Make me a Power Ranger. That's AEW onto NXT.
Can we just like rapid fire through it?
Well, isn't that what we do with NXT every week? as I turn. How do you feel about Mia Yim being called Yimitless?
I mean, it's as bad as everything else nickname-wise is.
That's true. The show opened with Candice LeRae against Mia Yim. They actually had a nice little intense match until then they suddenly freaking went to a double countout. And I was like, of course, the thing I'm suddenly enjoying on this show has the legs cut out from under it in a way that I'm just like, stupid NXT.
I really hate that like WWE does this shtick where like someone will run into a video board and then it will just start flashing. Like that's how video boards work.
They've interrupted the LED signals, Liam.
Like the old CRTs, and you just beat them up until they break.
That's how technology works. How do you know? Have you ever run into an LED board?
More times than I care to admit.
We had a big brawl with all the women, which I think sets up a 6-woman tag even for in your house. And then it turned into Gargano and Candice against Keith Lee and Mia Yim, which during that match now all of a sudden is kind of stupid.
Yeah, I thought that was the end game.
It just threw it out on TV for no reason. I didn't enjoy Johnny wrestling in pants, and he was very upset about this.
His cool jacket.
And then he stabbed Keith Lee in the eye with a key.
As one, wow, classic NXT ripping off AEW.
When did that happen in AEW?
Moxley, Jericho, the Inner Circle, stabbing him with a key.
Oh, they did. Oh,
I know.
Classic NXT ripping off AEW.
Moxley stabbed Santana with a key.
Yeah. To which Mauro responded, "That may be the key to victory."
He should have made and that's going to break his Kingdom Hearts.
Oh god! If Mauro made Kingdom Hearts references, the world would actually collapse in on itself. There would be no comprehension. The tag match was fine. I don't care. Not a great build to this match. There's a takeover this weekend, Liam.
It's not a real takeover.
It's weird. This show didn't even build to it.
Yeah, it's
NXT.
It did, but it did the same amount of build that any NXT show has to a takeover. Barely.
Dexter Lumis was painting.
He was drawing. It wasn't paint. It was textures.
The same thing. Listen, Mr. Artist over here, just being like, "Oh,
I'm
well,
sorry
actually, it's a drawing."
I'm sorry that I saw textures with my eyes.
Drake Maverick cut a promo. How do you feel about this?
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that, I suppose. You know what? All of you fucking dopes out there saying that this was good. Shut up.
The Drake Maverick stuff.
Not only was the storyline shit,
yeah,
they blundered the entire build to it by the way the actual match structure in every match building to it.
He's just a nerd, and then he lost. And, he didn't even lose. I assume they're turning Phantasma, because, they're obviously building toward.
He was the bad guy. Who would have called it? Me, I called it. That's why I did my little thing.
But if you're gonna, do the turn here, get heat on him here. If you're gonna beat Drake Maverick in this final, have him be beaten by someone who'll get heat from it, not someone who you're still currently presenting as a babyface.
Shouldn't this have been at TakeOver?
Probably, but the Drake isn't worth being put on TakeOver.
Well, to be fair, he didn't think he was having his job then.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, they didn't think he could be employed that long. The way they booked Drake Maverick in this story tells you that they don't believe in Drake Maverick. They don't. He's the guy who can't win. He's not a good underdog because they don't allow him to actually beat people. He's a slip on a banana peel. He wins by fluke, and they don't actually believe in him, which makes it all the more
it was disingenuous when they had a crowd full of employees cheering for him getting a contract to a company he may have already been employed to the entire time.
And they weren't like Drake Maverick is gone from WWE. They were like, Drake Maverick's career is over. It's like,
there's nothing else after WWE.
I hate.
You see, in WWE, the Panthology and the ethos of WWE, right? Japan exists and it is one company, and Mexico exists and it is one company, right? Yes. So after WWE, you can either go to Mexico or go to Japan. Or you come from Mexico, or you come from Japan, and there's nothing else. So, his career was over.
We had the prime target on Adam Cole against
I didn't watch this.
Dream.
I didn't watch it.
Dream was on roller skates. There you go.
I don't care about this match, and If for 1 second you don't think that everything that I predicted last week is going to happen, you are a fool.
What did you predict?
I predicted that it's going to be Velveteen Nightmare. He's going to throw him into a house, and they're going to do a bunch of spooky house spots, and Dexter Lumis is going to come out from under a bed.
I thought they said it was going to be a backlot brawl.
Yeah, until they go to the in your house set during the match.
I see. It's in the backlot.
Yeah, in the backlot, and then he'll knock. All right, I'm updating the plan. He's gonna hit like Cole in the head with a pipe, and then they're gonna do like the woo 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 dream sequence, and then it's going to happen inside Adam Cole's mind.
I don't want it.
I
just don't want it.
I am the king of cinematics.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I didn't watch this.
Dexter Lumis, his painting, or his drawing, I'm so sorry, was Undisputed Era tied up in a truck.
Which Beth said was the creepiest like piece of art she's ever seen. Has
There's
she never seen art before?
Yeah.
Beth, you were a woman on TV. I'm sure there's creepier art about you out there.
No, don't even want to think about it.
And you're not only that, you're a woman in wrestling who was like who has been in multiple relationships with people in wrestling. There's definitely creepy art of you out there.
Gotta love wrestling fans.
People are perverts, man.
It's well intentioned.
Oh, it's always like I get annoyed at Maro's quips. I just find Beth's kind of endearing.
She did say, I'll go to it now. When the fashion police were entering, she was like, somebody call Tom Pritchard because we're about to see heavenly bodies. I was like, that's actually, you know what, Beth, I'm okay with this.
That was pretty good. And then like she had some other line like about it right after that I was gonna note, but then I forgot, so I didn't. And then this whole tangent was for naught.
Isaiah Scott Swerve.
Sorry, what? Start that again.
Isaiah Scott Swerve.
Nope.
Swerve Scott. That's why I'm getting it wrong. I'm getting the word order wrong. Isaiah Swerve Scott defeated Tony Nese in a match as interesting as all the other cruiserweight matches on the show.
This was a good 3-minute tournament match. Oh wait, that's done.
But did you not see Triple H's tweet, Liam? They respect the cruiserweights. They showed what cruiserweights can do.
Cruiserweight, brother.
What 3-minute television matches? Scott won, sure.
Mm-hmm. And there was like there was a bad guy. Yeah, the villain Jack Gallagher showed up for a bit.
Did he?
Yeah, he showed up and he distracted Scott, and then like Nese was gonna do the old jig and tonic, and then Scott rolled him up, and then Gallagher ran after him,
and then he still won. That's
At least if you're going to do that, they did the flash pinfall finish, which I think is better than, like, I hit you with my move after I've been distracted.
I think I've come to the conclusion I just hate NXT. Like, we're going on to Undisputed Era against Lorcan and Birch and Breezango, and, like, for the first time in the entire run of Lorcan and Birch, they actually told us a little about who they were last week, and then they just have them lose to Breezango. I'm like, what is this show even for?
The problem is NXT just really not exciting. And I'm sure, I was going to say, I'm sure it's part of that studio, the atmosphere, but the atmosphere at Full Sail isn't even that much better. So, it's just not a very interesting show.
But you just watch things, and they don't do anything. It's just like, oh, we're going to tell you a little more about Lorcan and Birch, so that presumably they're facing Imperium at the TakeOver, but then we're just going to bring Breezango back, and they're still clowns, and then they win, even though they've been jobbers for a while.
They're space boys.
Space clowns. Space clowns would be terrifying, wouldn't they? Imagine like going to space and just seeing like, the clown from it.
Do you want to write a short film called Space Clowns?
Sure.
Cool.
It's mostly about Elon Musk.
Opening scene. Elon Musk is in the hospital with his baby. A space clown shows up, attacks him, but Grimes...
I was more thinking that... Elon Musk is the titular space clown.
Oh no, that's the big reveal at the end. That's the big swerve. Is that he was the space clown the entire time. And it's like the reveal isn't him like doing a creepy face. I think it's him turning to the camera deadpan, getting a red nose and putting it on. And then cut. The end? Question mark?
Space clown.
Which I think I made the end question mark joke last week about the Velveteen Nightmare. Damn, my really tropes are being revealed.
You can't commit to an ending, Liam. Come on.
No, I'm just always prepping for a sequel.
Yeah, sequelitis out here in Liam Jones's fictional canons.
Mm-hmm. Who cares about
Imperium.
anything? We talked about the main event.
We still have matches before the main event.
No, we don't. It's all over.
Imperium will face Breezango at the takeover. Sure.
Aaliyah.
Yeah.
So basically, Robert Stone is a big nerd and he got dropped, and now he is an even bigger nerd because he is trying to recruit a loser who he said goodbye to, and it's not working. All right, and then we move on. We're going to Cameron Grimes.
You missed the prime target.
I watched this prime target.
You were big into Pete Rosenberg, Joshi expert?
I was...
Where he was like, Io Shirai.
Io Shirai is the
AJ
like, Styles of Japan. She travelled all over the world, Garrett. Don't you remember all of those other world travels that she did?
Yeah, before she went to the World Wrestling Entertainment. Pat McAfee, again, expert on Joshi.
It's really funny because like Rhea's character is so clearly like WWE's interpretation of what a babyface is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, she goes to the gym early. Don't you love her?
It's very
she has
relatable.
Commitment. It's like, I mean, I appreciate that she has commitment, but it doesn't make me like love the character.
No.
Yep, and then of course we move on to Cameron Grimes versus Bronson Reed. Cameron Grimes got beat up the entire match and then won at the end with his flash finish, and then afterwards Karrion Kross murdered Bronson Reed, and then we go to the main event, in which we already talked about it, so the show's over.
That main event, who cares about the match? It was fine, but like, I don't know. It was somehow, I didn't expect much out of it. I expected it to be very slimy, very sleazy, very gross, and it was somehow worse than I thought it would be.
Just Mario screaming on commentary that Drake's career is over, over and over again.
And Drake looks into the camera and says, "I failed you, but thank you."
It
and
gets
then he walks
very
away.
NXT melodrama. Like, it's very like Johnny Gargano looking at his hands.
And then, like, in typical NXT fashion, the hero of the story is Triple H, who walks out and he's like, "We're giving you a contract to the developmental brand. Congratulations. And you've really done this. We only fired you."
The only real WWE moment in, like, the last 10 years.
But, like, it even speaks to how shitty WWE is that they only realized the talent of this man when they fired him. They fired him. He did a video by himself. It got over, and they're like, "Gee, golly whiz, guys! Maybe this guy has likable. Maybe this guy has talent."
To be fair, that happens when you have 200 people employed.
But he was a slimy main roster heel for the entirety of his run there, except when he was 205 Live babyface general manager, which is a bizarre.
For a year.
Yeah, but like he was still 205 Live babyface manager while doing
Remember when he pissed himself?
Yeah, those I don't even remember. The Authors of Pain. There we go. That's the name of that tag team. And while he was doing the 24/7 I want to have sex gimmick, and he was still in the entirety of that time 205 Live general manager. He might still be 205 Live general manager. I don't know.
No, he quit. Remember, to enter the tournament.
And then he got fired. So that was his mistake. He quit himself.
See, that they started to question his loyalty.
When he quit 205 Live. But yeah, that it took a guy basically, again, getting over by himself because he was fired for them to recognize his talent is yet another indictment of WWE's complete and utter inability to recognize talent and actually push them accordingly. And I hated this. I hated this so much. I hated it with like a deep, seething past. It was so gross that they're like, look at this feel-good moment because we fired him and then brought him back. Isn't that so heartwarming? It's like, go fuck yourselves. Stop.
Not to mention the fact that it's completely immoral with like all the actual firings that happened. I wonder if Drake's new NXT contract that he's offered was a fraction of what he was getting paid before.
And like there were people who were like, oh well, maybe it was a work all along, and they're like, that's worse again. Like if it was a work all along, they faked firing somebody while really firing shitloads of people so they could tell a shitty ass story badly.
Drag.
That's WWE NXT. By the way, none of this had anything to do with the takeover on Sunday, so good job, guys. You really build that one up.
He's gonna beat
Cole or Saturday, whatever that goddamn takeover is. Who cares? I don't know when this. It's usually Saturday, but the last one was on Sunday, so I don't even know anymore. I don't care anymore. I don't like this show. Like there was that one week where this show was good, and I'm like, oh yeah, remember when this show was good? And then ever since then, it's just been like short matches that you don't remember, bad stories that don't go anywhere. No one's getting over. No one's moving up anywhere, and it's just endless. And I just. Make a better show. It's as bad as their other shows, and there's nothing that can be done about it because they're desperate to fight a ratings war that they can never win. Match of the week, Liam.
The Revival's interview segment.
It's not a wrestling match.
It's the best match of the week.
I'm gonna go with Colt and Jericho. Pick a match.
I'm gonna go with Cash throwing his water bottle at Braxton Sutter.
Pick a match.
I picked my match. Wardlow wasn't even. Wardlow didn't even do a squash.
You have to pick a match. You cannot abandon our format. I'm a slave to format. Why is this so hard? There's like two.
Because they were all like the same.
Pick one.
Dax and no shit.
You bottled it. Just like they bottled somebody else.
Cole Cabana.
There we go. Show of the week.
AEW.
Yeah, AEW wasn't great. It was fine, but NXT
it's funny, even when
annoying.
AEW is like kind of boring, it's still leagues better.
It's not even close. Fan poll, 83% AEW, 17% NXT with 317 votes. So again, landslide. A bigger landslide than last week. Last week was only 75%. So yeah, AEW was, even as you said, this week's AEW was like, it's fine. It was a fine wrestling show.
It was probably like better than last week's, to be fair.
But it's still like, aside from Colt and Jericho, which is a fun historical footnote, everything else in that show just disappear. And it's still miles better than NXT, which infuriates me on multiple levels.
I think we should start comparing Dark to NXT. It's a fairer comparison.
That would require me to watch Dark, which I refuse to do on principle.
What if just this show stopped reviewing Dynamite and just reviewed Dark instead to give NXT a chance?
I think that would be fair. Let's start comparing NXT to Raw and SmackDown. I still think it might not always win.
No, I think there's a chance that Raw wins. SmackDown will never win that, but Raw, maybe.
If you would like more Elite coverage in your feed, you can listen to Everything Elite. If you'd like more WWE television show coverage in your feed, you can listen to Shake Them Ropes. You can follow me on Twitter at GarrettKDJ or TTKINEY. Can't even spell my own name. You can follow the Wrestling War Games account on Twitter at WarGamesPod. Liam was briefly unlocked yesterday, I noticed. He has since locked his account again. So unfortunately you can't follow. If you were spotting Liam's Twitter yesterday, you could have followed him, but you can't right now.
I don't think anyone managed to get in the time. I made a great 3-count tweet and you all missed it.
Yeah, we gotta wait. You gotta spot Liam's Twitter all the time. You just have to open it in a browser and refresh constantly.
It's a new fun game for our listeners.
Try and follow Liam on Twitter.
Yeah. But that being said, as we've stated every time, if you have a following or a blue tick, you can take your shot.
Thanks for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye. It's a bad bye.